Hello, today I'm going to show you guys how to make a yarn angel, kind of like the yarn dolls, and then make yarn octopuses. And so today we're going to make the yarn angel, and I have here fall colored yarn. It's multicolored, got different colors throughout the strands, and then I have a white. You need at least two colors to make the angel. You can use just one, but it looks better if you have more than one, so I'm going to use two. And you will also need just a yarn needle. All I have is this a plastic one. You can see where it's got the big head and the end of it, so you can run the yarn through there. Okay, you will also need a piece of cardboard, or really just anything that you can wrap the yarn around. You could use a book. I'm using this my quilting ruler that I have. It just kind of, let me see how long it is here. It's about 10 inches long, so my doll is going to be approximately probably about 8 inches in length by using this. Okay, I'm going to start out with my white, and I'm going to try to put the end of the yarn down at the end of my base, and I'm just going to wrap it around it like this. And the more yarn that you, the more times that you wrap it will be the more time, the thicker that your angel or your doll will turn out to be. I've cut a piece of yarn and I'm just going to use it till it's all the way up. See? Now we're going to start and put the other color of yarn on top of that. Okay, again, I'm going to put this piece down at the bottom and then just wrap it around. This right here is going to be the dress on the angel. Sorry guys, my yarn's tiny. It's tangling up there on me. Okay, now that my yarn, I've wrapped that color completely around. I'm just going to cut it off here at the bottom. Now I'm going to go back with my white again and overlap this with the color white. Okay, so now you can see about how thick it is on each side. Now I didn't count how many times I wrapped this around through there because I just I just estimate on it. So I mean, you know, you don't want to wrap it around too thin because you know, you want your doll to have some plumpness to it. So I'm just going to cut this off down here. And I'm going to cut a small piece of yarn. I'm going to take this piece of the piece of yarn that I cut, and I'm just going to pull it under one side of the yarn, and I'm going to pull it up to the top. And here I want to make a knot, and I want to try to make it, pull it really tight, because this is going to be the top of her head. Okay, and then I'm just going to snip off the extra pieces. Okay, now I'm going to take, I'm going to slip it off first. So slip it off your cardboard, or you know, whatever your base was. I've wrapped this kind of tight, so okay. So now you can see that you have a big circle, and the knot that we tied is right here at the top. I'm going to try to pull this down, and I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut. all the way through this yarn here. Okay, so now we have two sides. Okay, so now I want to try to separate the first layer of white that we did from the middle layer, the colors there in the middle. And you want to do this, you want to separate these on both sides. Okay, so now I have separated the inside section and got all of the white together. Now I did this so I can make sure that, because this is going to be her face and her body. So now I'm going to separate these colored strands and make sure that they are hovering over the outside of these, so there's none intertwined in the middle. Okay, so now I have separated all three colors, their sides. Dropped a piece there. Okay, now I didn't wrap as much yarn on the top layer because these are going to be the wings, and like I said, this right here is going to be her face. So now I'm going to try to take and just lay these colors here right along the outside of her, because remember the colored yarn is going to be her dress. You can kind of see her face there. You can see how the colors are going to hang down over. And we are going to, these right here, this piece up here is going to be her wings. Okay, so now that you have, you know, because right now we're going to be making her head, and this is her face, so I have tried to take all of the colored yarn and wrapped it all around the back of her head. So we just have the white showing through on her face in the front. Now I'm going to take a piece of colored yarn here, and I'm just going to tie it just like we did the knot earlier before we took it off of the base. We're going to tie a knot around her head here. Now you can put like a foam ball in here, or you can make a ball of yarn to stick on the inside if you want her head more round. Okay, so now you can see the knot, and I'm just going to cut off the little extra pieces. Okay, and you can slide this, if you don't want the knot to show, you can slide it around towards the back of the doll. Now I'm going to show you how we make her wings. You have this the strand of the yarn at the top that separates each side. And what I do is I just bend them. You're going to bend them around into a loop. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay. Now on the back side, turn the doll around to the back. I'm just going to take, and however big I want my wings, say I want them to be about as big as the length of the yarn, I'm going to tie a knot, take a white piece of string and tie another knot around the end of these and make sure that I keep them separated in the middle. Okay, I just finished tying the knot, so now you can see that these two strands are tied together. So I want to take this piece we just tied, and I'm just going to push it back up against where her neck, where this string here we tied, and I'm going to take this knot here, and I'm going to take my yarn needle. I want to put a piece of thread through the yarn needle, and I'm just going to run it through there so I can tie this to the loop on her neck that we made. Okay, so I'm going to take my yarn needle and I'm going to run it through the doll here and then out the other side. But I'm not going to pull it all the way through, I'm just going to pull my yarn needle off. So now I can take my wings that I have here, and when I pull them up here, I can take this knot and line it up with the knot that's already in the white yarn that we made earlier to tie the two ends together. Okay, now that I've tied the knot and tied them together, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut all of this extra yarn here in the back. I'm going to try to cut it all the same length. Okay, so this is what we have so far. I know they don't really look like wings right now, it kind of looks like hair, but we're going to fix that. Okay, now that we have these, what I'm going to try to do is slide remember this layer of yarn is on the top. I'm going to try to slide it around to where we're going to move these where the yarn is so high up onto her head, and we're going to try to move it down to the back of her head. Okay, you can see that I've slid the yarn from where it was right on top of her head more towards the back of her head. I slid it back as far as I could get it. Now I'm going to take some white yarn and I'm going to tie another loop, another knot around each side of the wings like this. Okay, so then whenever you look at it in the front, I have these knots right here. You can see that it will look like wings. Okay, so now you can see her wings. Now we're going to make her arms. Now, like I said, you can use any colors you want for this. There's so many different varieties, but I'm just going to use the white again for her arms. Now to make the arms, I've just wrapped the yarn back around the ruler again, and I've tied a knot on one end of it here, just like we did before I slip it off. And we have our loop again. Now this time, I'm going to tie it in the middle. Okay, so now I have my knot, and I have one loop on each side. Now I'm going to take the doll, like see here's the front of her, and I'm going to turn her sideways, and I'm going to split her in half. And then we're going to take our yarn that we just made, and I'm going to put that knot that we made in the middle. So now she has these arms, and I'm going to, before I go any further with these, I'm going to tie a knot right here where my thumb is, and this is going to be her body section. Okay, so now I've tied the knot here for her waist. That's her body. And I've tied a knot here on the ends for her hands. Now some people will braid the whole arm section, so then her arms are braided. You know, you can do whatever you want. And then I like to leave them frayed on the edges, so I'm just going to cut the yarn right through there. So then she's going to kind of have the little frayed hands there on the ends. Do the same thing to the other side. So, there you have it. That's the yarn doll. I mean, well, I'm going to go ahead and trim the edges of it down here. So it'll be straight. And that's all there is to it. So if you have any questions, any comments, please leave them. And until next time, I will see you guys later.